Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle to take the defensive end. If he's over him, if he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Fullback, you tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. If you want to email the show, you can send a message to PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text the show at 865-658-5824. I'm joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay on this beautiful, beautiful Victory Monday. I'm really excited to kind of dive into some of the PFF grades. And we got a couple videos to show you as well. One from Packers.com. Just kind of their Packers daily recap, if you will. But we got the chat already filling up. Tim, how you doing today, buddy?
Feeling good, man. Victory Monday is here. It's been a while. I like this feeling. Let's keep it rolling.
Hanging out up here in the loft of Lambeau Field. You know how it is, right?
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice shot right there.
Yeah, that really is, man. We got a really cool picture of me, Jacob, Seth Reuter, and who else? No, it was just us three. Yeah, me, Jacob, and Seth up here in this very spot, man. That is the place to be pregame. You go up there and watch the flyover, Tim. Oh, it is amazing, dude.
Yeah, I got to do that. That's a Lambeau bucket list for sure. I'm slowly checking things off as I settle in up here. So that's definitely something I want to add to the list.
Yeah, definitely. Just want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Got a herd in here already. We got Omer in the chat, Zane Strong, Romero. We got Josh Martin, Larry back in the house. What's up, Larry? Good to see you, buddy. United Bates, Mark, Deadfish. Mike Hebring in here, a.k.a. the Packers super fan. Appreciate you guys swinging through. We got a question for you right off the bat, Tim. Look at this. Omer says, Tim, you're the stats guy. Are Packers the most inept team in the history of the NFL in short yardage? It's like every time this team is third or fourth and 1 yard to go, they choke. I'd like to know where they stack up. It's kind of a tough look, right, Tim? Those sneaks yesterday, granted, I still don't know what to think about the penalty. Did anybody ever explain it to him? Was it legit penalty or? Oh, you're muted, brother.
I'm sorry. I'm not really a stats guy. I mean, I am. I'm actually I'm more of the feels guy. I'm in my feels all the time. I fan with my heart. I was telling Clayton that I'm getting better at fanning with my brain as I get older. But no, stats are important and they do tell us a lot. But I definitely, Omer's got a point. I don't know about most inept in the history of the National Football League. But recently it does seem like those third and fourth and 1s or 2s or shorts, whatever we want to call them. They do seem to kind of quote unquote choke, whether it's a personnel issue, play clock running down, we got to burn a timeout, now we can't go for it, or we get a penalty, now we have to punt, or my favorite, it's 4th and 1 and we're throwing the ball 47 yards down the field. So Omer's got a point. I would like to look at the numbers, I guess. Maybe we can take some time and do that. I'd be curious to see where they stack up as well, but I will tell you this, at least they attempted what they attempted. I mentioned this yesterday on the post game that I've been waiting for that opportunity after not converting on a 3rd and short to just hustle up to that line and get a play off and catch them sleeping. Yeah. And we almost did it a couple of times. So I'm just happy to see it. It shows some fire from our team, and it shows a little fire from Coach LaFleur there with the play call. I like that decisiveness. Zero hesitation. I would just like to know what the heck happened there. Runyon, I guess, had made a comment that he's been lining up there, pretty consistently
since he was in 5th grade.
Right. Right. Now, I will tell you this, though. I caught some of the Dallas and Philly game, and I caught a little bit of Bengals Bills, and it did look to me like their offensive linemen were further back on a lot of these sets, set further back from the ball. So I don't know if that's just a team thing, a preference thing. Maybe it's a protection or a blocking assignment thing. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I've heard. I mean, I'm sure Mike Wall could shed some light on this. He would be someone to definitely ask what his thoughts are on that. But yeah, man, we got to clean it up when we're getting those type of situations, because that cost us. Those killed our drives. I wholeheartedly believe we would have converted at least one, if not both of those, in that situation had things gone a little bit better.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and you could see that they were going to get it. And Jordan Love looks like he can run the sneak pretty good. That's the first time I've seen him run it, in this game. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think I've ever seen him run a sneak before. I could have missed it. But, yeah, Brent, thank you for the super sticker, buddy. We appreciate you supporting the stream, man. Let's kind of go back to the top here and see what else we got. Zane Strong, what up, PTA Posse? Happy Victory Monday.
Yeah.
Romero, hello all. Go Pack, go. I appreciate you swinging through. Like I said, Larry in the house. Good evening, PTA Posse. Back to Victory Monday, says Mark. Dead Fish, hello, Posse. Still so happy. So many young players made plays on Sunday, and some old ones too. They showed up and showed out, man. And immediately people were trying to, well, it's the Rams. They're back. I'll tell you this, that offense came out and pretty much dominated. We'll talk about the PFF grades here in a minute. They come out pretty much dominated. Aaron Donald was on the field. Like, let's not pretend like this Rams team is completely void of talent, right? Have arguably the best defensive player in the league, if not, top three. But, it's such a tired argument when people, like, they don't acknowledge that the difference between the worst team and the best team is like this in the NFL. I mean, look at the Broncos beating the Chiefs. And when you say Pat Mahomes was sick, okay, let's think of another excuse that, you know what I mean? Like, any given Sunday, anything can happen. Now, as far as the officials calling that penalty, the first thing that came into my mind when I woke up this morning, Tim, and I was kind of thinking about it again in the conversation we had about it on the post-game show, was what better game to pick to put emphasis on it than a couple teams who are struggling, and this game probably doesn't matter to 99% of NFL fans, right? So that did cross my mind, right, wrong, or indifferent. I kind of think that might have had something to do with it for sure. But
so John Runyon Jr.'s dad is on the competition committee or on the rules committee. Am I hearing this correct?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, was this like the old, I want to show that I'm not playing favorites and we're going to pick on my son in the game?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just such an odd thing.
I don't know.
It's such an odd thing for them to mention on the telecast, right? It was
Right.
like, why would you even say that? Like, but anyway, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
I like this right here. Brent X being optimistic. He says, if we go 2-2 in the next 4, which would be a tough feat, I think we would all agree, and I'm sure Brent would too. He said, is the entire one not showing up here? Let's see here. We will is all I got here. Okay, there it is. If we go 2-2 in the next 4, here's the rest of it. Okay. We will be playing the Bears to get in the playoffs week 18. I'll tell you this, if we go 2-2 in the next 4, and we do find ourselves in playoff contention the last 3 or 4 weeks, to me, that's a successful season. That's a fun season during a rebuilding year, we're trying to reset and all these young guys getting snaps and all that stuff. Yeah, I like your optimism, Brent, for sure. Ryan Henson says, "Go Pack, go! Good to be back after a win. Love it, love it, love it, man. Number one Packer fan. Don't give a crap about a backup quarterback. Packers got a dub. I promise you this: if they beat us, they wouldn't have cared that we had so many injuries either, right?
That's right.
It works. So, all right, I like this. Really like this. Zane Strong said, "You ain't even got to spell his name right. It don't matter." Joe Barry, the real MVP. We'll take it, man. We'll take it. Then he said, "Josh Myers balled out. I'm halfway through the second pass through the tape. Josh Myers hasn't popped to me, but hey, to each their own, Zane. I haven't really keyed in on him much. I'm trying to key in on the plays that were specific to the scoring drives and really what plays for Chalk Talk. I try to do the plays that had the biggest impact on the game, I did see a couple of snaps where I felt like he held his own, but I haven't looked at the whole thing. Like I said, we'll discuss the PFF grades for sure. Here we go. We got Deadfish says, how about on 3rd and short, bring Ryan and Caleb Jones in? Hey, there you go, dude.
We got to get Caleb in pads, though, for one of these games. He's over there wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him get out there. That'd be great.
He's such a big human being. Mike Hebring in the chat says, it's the Eagles rule. Did Eagles actually get called for offsides at all this season? I don't think they have. But again, going back to my point, Mike, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is kind of how it feels to me. They get the best record in the league, right? So if they come out and try to put the emphasis on them, then everybody's going to say, oh, well, it's rigged. They're trying to hold the best team back. They're trying to hold the team back that has perfected it, and they're just being biased, all those things, right? I don't think they've been called on it to the best of my knowledge. But, again, I haven't watched their tape. I do know that on that right side, you could tell the right guard was further up than the left guard and the left tackle, although the left tackle got called for it incorrectly. But it did look a little bit like, okay, he's definitely closer than all the other linemen, but it just blows my mind that I've watched football for so long and never noticed that. So Chris in the chat says, Clayton, Tim, did you see Ryan opening up some running lanes? Maybe he could help the running game a bit at right guard. I did see that on a couple of plays where he helped double down. And dude's a hoss. He was moving bodies. There's no doubt about it. That was a good sign, right? Now, can he pass block? That's the question, right? And it was weird because, it wasn't weird in that regard. Ryan goes out of the game, right? Or I'm sorry, Runyon goes out of the game. Ryan comes in, I think, for 15 snaps. And then, Runyon's right back in. So it wasn't like a huge sample size. But on the left side, Tim, I don't know if you noticed this, but at left tackle, pretty much a split amount of snaps for both Yash and Rasheed Walker, and they both played really well. And that kind of caught me off guard. Like, did one of them get banged up? Do you remember hearing?
Yeah, so, it was Yash had something with the back. And so that's when we started seeing Sheed getting peppered in. And then to Rasheed Walker's credit, he stepped up and played much better football than he played last week, clearly, which is what got him pulled anyway. So it was good to see him go out there. And, we didn't really look like we, offensively that we missed a beat. And I believe Sean Ryan, it was only 2 snaps, I think, that he played. But they were 2 memorable snaps because, again, a guy was asked to step in there. And now what's going on with Jenkins? Is that why we saw Ryan at left guard? Did we have Elton? Did Elton tweak something too? Because I think he ended up back in the game as well. So injury report will be interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least this week. So
we'll definitely have that tomorrow for sure. Yeah. Mike Hebring in the chat said Josh Myers had a 64.1 PFF grade, not exactly balling out. Let's see, there was another one in here. Ryan needs a chance. No. Okay, let's see. Quay and McDuffie look good for the future. I agree. Obviously Quay didn't play yesterday, but McDuffie really did. He showed up, showed out. Devondre Campbell too, though, guys. I was kind of peeking ahead at the season grades now. Devondre Campbell is now your highest graded defender, according to PFF, on the year. So don't rule him out. And he's under contract for, I think, the next 3 or 4 years. So, hey, it's a good problem to have, to know that you got McDuffie in your back pocket if somebody gets banged up, right? So nothing wrong with having depth, that's for sure. So, all right, let's do this. Let's waste no time. Let's get into PFF grades, Tim. I'm going to skim over real quick the rankings, okay? These are the team rankings for the entire league. And you'll notice that the Packers climbed up a little bit. They are now in the 18th spot at 76.0. They're right behind Vegas at 76.5, Washington at 77.8, the Jets at 78.0, and the Texans at 79.2, along with the Jaguars at 79.2. So when you look at that, the week, or not the week by week, but the team PFF rankings, we're 18th in the NFL, and we're the 10th highest graded team in the NFC. Now, you guys know 7 teams get in from each conference, so that kind of shows you we're not the bottom of the barrel, right? We're starting to sneak up as far as PFF is concerned. And listen, I'm not saying it's the tell-all end-all. I'm just saying, according to PFF, they think we're the 10th best team in the NFC. So you're starting to creep up on that playoff cusp, which is really, really cool and kind of goes with what Brent said about, hey, man, what if you go 2-2 these next 4 and put yourself in a position to possibly make the playoffs? But anything stick out to you there, Tim, as far as the rankings? You feel like that's pretty accurate, or what do you think?
I do. And I think we're creeping up. That's a great point. It's nice to see green across the board. I like that. And it's also nice, not to get off on a tangent here, but as we see the Raiders right up underneath us there, it's nice to see how we handled our victory yesterday after the game, as opposed to how the Raiders handled their victory over I believe they played the Giants. I mean, they're not even mid-grade team. So if we want to talk about, caliber of victory, I mean, the Raiders were smoking stogies in the locker room after their game, like they just won
the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah, and our guys were banding together, getting game balls from their coach. So, maybe, just maybe, it ain't as bad as we thought at 1265, and that guys are coming together. But yeah, I think these grades are really good indicator of what we're seeing right now, which is the Pack finally got themselves trending in the right direction, and it shows. And hanging around the bottom of that top 20 is, I feel, is fair. I think it's accurate.
Yeah, I agree. And, the big thing that sticks out to me, you immediately go, okay, what's the big weakness, right? The big weakness is run blocking at a 54.6. What's the strength? The highest grade across the board is coverage at 82.0. So that's pretty exciting stuff there, just to kind of show you, okay, people say this team doesn't have an identity. They have an identity. People just don't want to recognize it. When people, Tim, when they say, oh, this team doesn't have an identity, they're trying to stamp whether they're a run-heavy team or they're a pass-heavy team or they're this or they're that. The answer is there. People don't want to hear it. The identity of this football team is they're a defensive football team.
Yep.
People don't want to accept it. Now, listen, I'm not saying they're a great defensive team. I'm not saying that they're even very good. But the thing that they do better than anything else is play defense. There's there's a comment here in the chat, actually. Ryan Henson said the defense is giving up less than 20 most of the time. Offense is our issue. Yep. And again, Ryan, I'm not saying that about the defense to point the finger at the offense, although I completely agree with you there. I mean, the facts are the facts. But people don't want to acknowledge it, man, that this defense is starting to really turn it on. And they're not as bad as people would want them to be to justify firing Joe Barry. Now, I guarantee you in the comments right now, Tim, it'll be fire Joe Barry. And if they do, I'm not sitting here saying I disagree with it. I think there are better candidates out there. But when I watch the tape and you see the strength of this team, we got bigger problems than Joe Barry. I'm sorry. But again, people, fan how you want to fan is totally cool, right? Let's go to the week-by-week grades here, Tim, just to kind of see what the team has done week by week. We'll start in week 1. We'll just go overall grade. So against Chicago, 75.7. Against the Falcons, 65.9. The Saints, 67.9. The Lions, 64.1. The Raiders, 67.1. The Broncos, 63.3. The Vikings, 63.6. And then against the Rams, 81.5. Hands down, best performance of the year. Offensively, their best offensive performance as well to 76.0. Best passing graded to 76.3 by far. Pass blocking, 72.3. Not their best, but definitely in the top, 3 or 4 games this year. So pretty solid there. Receiving grade, look at the improvement there, Tim. It's not their highest grade. Their highest receiving grade was a 73.9 against the Falcons in week 2. But yesterday, a 70.3. These receivers really responded. They really did. Especially against, the previous week there with the Vikings at a 54.9. Running grade 71.5. Run blocking 69.3. By far their best run blocking game of the season. That's exciting. Defensive grade 77.3. Not by far, but their best defensive grade of the year. The only other one that comes close is Chicago at a 77.0. So really big improvement there. Run defense, 76.7. Tim, look at the last 2 games. Against the Vikings, their run defense was 85.0. Against the Rams yesterday, 76.7. Tackle grade, 80.8. That's their second highest of the year. Pass rush, 55.6. That was their worst pass rush game of the year, and we still ended up winning by 17 points. That's pretty exciting. Coverage grade, 83.6, by far their best coverage grade of the year. after the Rasul Douglas trade. Pretty cool stuff there. Special teams, 77.4. That's their second highest on the year. What do you think about all those numbers there, Tim? And I said yesterday on the post-game show, I know you agreed. I know Emilio agreed. This was a step in the right direction. When I go back and watch the tape, I'm starting to see what PFF's seen. I didn't expect it to be this big of a jump, but the fog of war lifts, and it's like, you know what, man? It's a pretty good ball game right here. They played a pretty sound, fundamentally, strong game outside of the penalties early. They turned it on pretty strong. What do you think, man?
Again, nice to see green across the board, and more importantly, no red, no gross red PFF grades this week at all. I think you're right. Relatively, I don't want to say mistake free because there were mistakes, but like you said, it was mostly these little penalties and just little boneheaded moves or inadvertent stuff. You had Rashawn with the face mask, things like that just kind of happen. They're part of the game. But as far as execution, man, this team, they executed. And, holding teams under 20, I've said this numerous times that I believe that you should win those games. We have an offense that if, they can put a couple of touchdowns and a field goal on the board, it could be enough to get it done. And, kudos to our defense. But you see what happens when we do play some complimentary football. We had a defense giving that ball back to our offense and an offense that finally put some drives together and got us on the board. So, yeah, we're trending in the right direction. A victory coming up here in Pittsburgh is going to be huge for momentum. And then watch out, Chargers and, yeah, the Lions and the Chiefs. I don't care. If we go on a 3-game win streak, I wouldn't want to face us right now, a young, hot team. So this is the first step in that direction. You can't put a streak together until you get that one, and we got it. We got the monkey off our back for sure.
Definitely. And the big thing that sticks out to me about yesterday's game, Tim, like I don't know if I've seen one SIF block. And when I mean SIF, they did short motion a couple of times that I noticed, which basically accomplishes the same thing that a SIF block does. But with a SIF, you're snapping the ball, then they're coming across a formation that really can throw things out of whack. You can see LaFleur's adjusting. You're seeing less pulling linemen. You're seeing more zone runs. I didn't notice any duo yesterday. The A.J. Dillon run, I thought it might have been duo, but it was definitely inside zone. There was a double to the second level, but it definitely wasn't double duo. I didn't see anything vertical as far as a vertical power game.
Right.
Really like the way LaFleur's calling the game now, and he's still got a little bit of chicanery in there. And again, you guys have heard me be critical of. I'll go ahead and pull this off here. First of all, Ryan Henson said less than 20 a game is an elite defense. Yes, the teams are weak, but at least it's a start.
Yep.
I wouldn't say that they're elite, and I'm not saying you're saying that. Although, look at here, told you, number one Packer fan, fire him anyway. LOL. I wouldn't say that they're elite by no stretch of the imagination. However, I do think they're trending in the right direction. I mean, just look at it here. When you look at it one more time, the defensive grades, it's one of the highlights of the season. Chicago, 77.0, right? Took a step back against the Falcons, 60.9. Then 74.2 against the Saints. Took a step back against the Lions, 57.4. Then a 70.8 against the Raiders. 59 against the Broncos. Now look at the last two games, 72.3 against the Vikings, 77.3 against the Rams. Starting to create a little bit of momentum there. So we're going to come back to the PFF grades. Let's get to the chat here real quick. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He said 19.9 points per game is now 10th in the league. Good stat there. Appreciate it, Mike.
Yep.
Starting to climb. Now, listen, we played a weak part of our schedule, right? You guys know. You heard what I just said. I think that's this team's identity. Is they're a great cover team, and they're a team that's going to play bend but don't break defense and always give your offense a chance to win the ball game, right? Not that they're dominant or anything. I'm not saying that. But with that being said, we're getting a test coming up. Now, immediately people think there's no chance we beat the Steelers. Listen, I think it's tough to go into Pittsburgh and win, especially against that defense. But Kenny Pickett is actually graded out lower than Jordan Love is. Yep. So all this flack that Jordan Love's catching about how he's underperforming this and that, Kenny Pickett's having a worse season than Jordan Love, according to PFF. So keep that in mind, right? We go in there, we commit to stopping the run, and we can get something going against this defense somehow, some way, not play into their hand of they love to score. That defense will score on you, right? Every great defense does. But, Mike, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We really appreciate it, man. Got another one here, too, from Mike. Mike's on fire now. Offense 20.0. So technically they are an offensive team. If you're looking at points alone, yeah. But let me ask you this, Mike. How many times did you see us turn the ball over inside our own 30-yard line, right? And that leads to points almost automatically.
Yep.
So that's on the offense, right? So I think it's pretty neck and neck. But when I turn on the tape, I don't go – let me ask you this, Mike. When you turn on the tape, right, and you watch the game, do you go, man, this is the defense's fault? Or do you say, man, this is the offense's fault? Me personally, if I had to point the finger, which I don't like to do, it's on the offense 90% of the time this season. So to me, that makes it a defensive team. Now that 20 points per game too, think about how many times that we've gotten turnovers on the other side of the 50, right? Like you seen it yesterday, right? Us getting the ball back. We're not a team that's going to create a whole lot of turnovers, at least not this year, because there's been a ton of dropped interceptions. I think of the Rudy Ford pick early in the year that we didn't convert to points, right? All those things kind of come into factor for sure. I love the points per play. Points per play and yards per play, to me, in my opinion, are the most important statistics. You take those in conjunction with points per game that you're allowing, kind of tells the whole story. I'm not a big DVOA fan, personally. I feel like the people that lean on DVOA is, it's the thing that gets me about DVOA, and I've asked this question before, and maybe there's an answer out there. I've never had anybody answer it for me. If the DVOA is adjusted to kind of take into consideration how good the offense is that you just played or that you've already played, what if that offense turns it on later in the year? Then that DVOA earlier in the overall scheme of things by season's end is, okay, how many yards per player are you giving up? How many points per player are you giving up? To me, that's what's huge in the gambling community, and I just tend to agree with it. But, Mike, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. It is nice to know that the offense is up to 20 points per game. That's pretty cool. So, Josh Martin, thank you for the super chat. He said, we finally went simple, and look how we did. Great. Run the ball, protect the ball, right, Tim? That's what it comes down to, dude. That's
right. And, we had a sloppy game, not us, as a team, but weather conditions, so we knew there was going to be some slipping and sliding. Like I at least I did. I fully expected, us to see exactly what we saw, but I agree with what Josh is saying, keep it simple, stupid. Right. And then guess what? And guess what happened later on in that game? We brought in some complexity, and we ran a couple of those nice patented Matt LaFleur calls, and we, got a beautiful touchdown to Luke Musgrave on one of them. So, but then of course, we had great touchdown from Aaron Jones too. Simple run up the middle. Yep. So, that's what we want to see, right? That illusion of complexity when you need it, rather than guys just being confused all the time. So,
yeah, definitely. Here's a cool end zone shot of that touchdown you were talking about, just straight up the middle, zone run.
Yep.
Gotta love the dance here. I'd never be able to do that in my whole white life. Look at these guys. They got so much swag.
That's the one of the originals right there. I believe that was one of Aaron Jones's first celebrations right there. So bringing it back, I like it.
Yeah, here's another shot here too. I think this next one is the interception celebration, and Jair looked like his old self yesterday, and it was exciting to see those diving breakups. Look at him right here celebrating with the fans. You got to love it, dude. Yep. Love that Jai is like back to being Jai. Let's hope it sticks, right? Let's hope it sticks. And it could have all just been frustration from the back injury. And then right here, you're going to get a shot of Luke Musgrave all fired up. Tim, tell him what upset you about this one.
Rookie mistake, dude. They move. Look at him moving the net, like jump into the stands, dude. Where is the Lambeau leap? Like, bro. But hey, it's okay. He's a rookie. He'll be back there. But he had full run, man. He could have caught that in stride, jumped into the third row.
No doubt. Josh Martin, thank you so much for the super chat, pal. We appreciate it. Let's see here. United Bates, thank you for the super chat. He said, Nixon, I didn't know this. Keyshawn Nixon leads the NFL in kickoff returns. Attaboy. Side note, kickoff fair catch rule is garbage.
Hot garbage.
Completely agree. Man, this game, that's what I was saying about how they overthink things, man. This game is good enough the way it is. The media overthinks it. Like I said, the officials overthink it. The rules committee overthink it. Leave the game alone, man. The game is perfect. It's beautiful. Like, stop trying to put more makeup on it, man. It's fine the way it is. Like, it just blows my mind that they go out of the way to screw things up. But yeah,
That's why I love Keyshawn so much, because he ain't gonna fair catch anything. Promise
and
you that.
and immediately I'm thinking with Keyshawn, you hear those statistics, you think, okay, we just need to put him back on punt return and let somebody else play nickel. Hold the phones, my friends, because he had a game yesterday, according to PFF, and we seen it in the tackling. We talked about it in the post game. But again, thank you, United Bates. Appreciate the super chat. Carly Ray in the house says, "Hey, all, happy Win Monday." That's right. It's exactly what it is. So, all right, let's get back to PFF here. Up next, well, first of all, as far as the week by week rankings, this week they had their best passing grade of the season at 76.3. And their best coverage grade of 83.6. Those were the highlights for sure. All right, so let's get into the offensive side of things against the Rams, okay? At the top, only 8 snaps, okay? Only 8 snaps, but Emmanuel Wilson, 91.0. Pretty impressive, right? And I believe in the preseason he had a PFF grade of over 92, Tim, if I remember correctly.
He had a big run like he did too, off the edge and up the seam in the preseason as well. Yeah, man, something to be excited about there on this depth chart as we look at our young team. But I agree. Good to see 31 running that ball out there again, right?
Absolutely. And at worst case scenario, that's your number 3 running back next year, right?
Yep.
Jordan Love, 83.2, hands down his best game of the year. You love to see it. Obviously, he had 32 passes. His passing grade, 76.3. Running grade of 80.0 was very effective out there running the ball as well, you know, when you have to, right? Again, my only knock against Jordan, and I'm almost, like I said, second pass through the tape. The big knock for me is he's a little reckless in the pocket. Clean that up. The accuracy was better. The timing was better. He was off on a few balls. We'll talk about it on Chalk Talk for sure. But, yeah, all in all, man, what a great performance. Rasheed Walker, 76.9. Dontavian Wicks, 74.9, his best game of the year. And check this out. He had 23 snaps. So you're getting up into that. That's a pretty healthy sample size, right? This is what I was talking about with Yash and Rasheed. They pretty much split because of the injury. 37 snaps for Rasheed. Like I said, 76.9. Yash, 35 snaps, 74.5. You like to see it. A.J. Dillon, 71.5. Romeo Dobbs, 69.9. Elton Jenkins, 69.0. Luke Musgrave, 68.3. Zach Tom, 68.3. Sean Ryan, there he is, 66.4. Only had 15 snaps, but a pretty decent performance there. Tucker Kraft, 64.3. Josh Myers, 64.1. I know everybody likes to, if you say anything negative about Josh Myers, everybody immediately says, well, look at his pass block grade. Yesterday it was Dookie, 58.0. Okay, so just keep that in mind. As far as the people that were underwhelming, John Runyon had 65 snaps, 42.3, pass blocking grade of 29.9. Definitely took a step back. Yeah, so that's tough. And Aaron Jones had a bad game too, 55.2. You can see it in the yards per carry. But again, when you commit to running him, the defense has got to commit to trying to stop him and prevent those home runs, Tim. And I think that's really what opened things up. But what do you think about those offensive grades, man?
Yeah, I think they're pretty much spot on as far as what we saw. You know, really, we could have put a lot more points on the board, honestly, looking back at it. But hey, we got enough to get the win. Looks good. 20-3 looks like a good final score. I'll take it. But yeah, Aaron Jones, I think that's you know, get the wheels going again. You know, I think the yards per carry will increase as his touches increase. And hopefully we keep this same mantra as we head into a difficult game in Pittsburgh, because we're not going to beat them without running the ball, and we're going to have to effectively run the ball, just like we did against this Rams defense. And you mentioned Aaron Donald was out there. They got some big boys up there on that defensive front. So that's not to be taken lightly. We were able to manufacture a run game consistently. And that's one of the main reasons why I think we won, because it allowed us to open up passing opportunities. I mean, Josiah DeGuara had a catch, for crying out loud, running butt naked through the trailer park, as you would say, wide open in the middle. So, you know, you don't do that without a run game. We got a little help from Dylan. Dylan had a couple really good runs when we needed it, which is exactly what, you know, he's there to do. And you mentioned Emmanuel Wilson too. I mean, I think offensively, yeah, clearly things are looking up. And how excited can you possibly get for Dontavian Wicks, man? It's the ascent is coming, and it shows that maybe we do have a little bit of depth here at receiver. Samari Toure was one of the guys I had picked to have a breakout year, and I guess I swung and missed at that one. Clearly, he's trending the wrong way on the depth chart, but we did get to see Malik Heath there at the bottom. He got a rep, unfortunately had a drop, but Malik Heath is another guy that I think is worth keeping on your radar, especially in the future, as we look at this receiving core. But yeah, man, guys stepped up. And I think a lot of this is, we saw it with Romeo Dobbs and we saw it with Jaden Reed. They must have watched film last week, because I saw our receivers coming back to the ball yesterday. And Dobbs, had a couple of really great grabs, refusing to drop the ball, going out there and making a play for his quarterback. They know Jordan's, having some issues, just like they're having issues of their own. So they gotta pick each other up. And it was really refreshing to see that yesterday, guys battling and playing together.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. And again, going back and watching the tape, the Christian Watson injury, definitely a really bad ball from Love. So kudos to Watson for hauling it in. Obviously, he missed Watson down the sideline on that deep pass. And then the throw to Musgrave, where everybody's making fun of Musgrave for stumbling and he can't keep his footing. Go back and watch it again. The throw was laid on the corner, and it was high and like directly over him. You want to hit him in stride in the corner and possibly wheel it off with the sideline. Musgrave had to turn, contort, try to catch it, get back around, and stumbled and fell. So, again, Jordan's best game, and what's exciting is he still left some throws out there, man. It's pretty cool. It is. I think he's got a lot of upside. Let's hope he can put it all together by season's end, and we come away from this season going, all right, he's the guy, right? But Robert Allen, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. He said, got my 20 Jones carries. How'd it look? 3.7 yards per carry. I'll take it. Offense runs through Jones, dead stop. No doubt about it, man. And again, they stopped him, right? They stopped him for 3.7 a carry. But by doing that, that's why you've seen some of that second level open up. Man, I'm telling you, the orbit, I don't have the name wrote down. I haven't broken the play down completely, but that play to Musgrave, the reason it worked was showing the fake to Jones, right, in the flat or the swing, then coming back and showing it to A.J. Dillon, right? So it was essentially a 21 set. So it was 21 gun, trips right, T slot.
Oh, say that again. Did you just say 21 personnel? Oh, yes.
Yeah. 21 gun, right, trips right, T slot. And the next lingo in that play call would be, you would say T slot orbit, because he actually did orbit motion. He motioned behind the quarterback and the other running back. And then it was, you could say double flat fake, double swing fake. And if you'll notice, LaFleur had the right guard pull out to the right? And what that does is the linebackers are keying them. You see me catch that net like the Karate Kid, bro.
Wow, nice.
Oh, yeah. So, Packers weren't the only ones that had a good game. So when they pulled the guard, it made the linebacker bite. And you could see Musgrave sell it. Musgrave act like he's blocking, right, for that swing. And then, bang, he's off in the leak. I can't wait to show y'all that play. It was a lot of fun. But, again, 21 gun, trips right, T slot orbit, and it essentially be a double fake swing tight end leak is what it was. So
set up by those 20 Aaron Jones carries at 3.7 yards, because that play doesn't work without the run game that we established early on.
And you'll notice early in the game they did some 21 gun double sidecar motion, and that really set it up. So LaFleur was in his bag, man. And again, I've said it all year. My knock on LaFleur has nothing to do with the passing game. He's scheming guys open. That's on Love missing guys, right? My knock on LaFleur for the first, 3, 4, 5 games was all this sifting, all this pulling, making the running game harder than it needs to be. The last 2 games, it's gone. I'm not going to sit here and say, I told you so. I hate it when people do that. But it's exciting to see a problem, talk about it with Mike Wall. Mike Wall saying, yep, Clayton, I'm seeing the same thing. And then a few games later, the sift is gone now the running game's moving in the right direction because, yes, Aaron Jones didn't have a great game, but A.J. Dillon had some really good runs. One of those runs we're actually breaking down on that opening drive for Chalk Talk. I'm excited about that. So, Robert Allen, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I wanted to hit on this real quick. Ryan Henson said, deep ball accuracy. Hate bringing it up, but thoughts. Yeah, it's still a problem. We just kind of talked about it, Ryan. And again, it's not to pile on, but if you see it, you got to say it. And I say that with excitement because if Love gets that down, then he's going to have a lot of upside, Tim. Like, I mean, you see, first of all, one of the things that's hard to teach a young quarterback, and not suggesting he's a rookie or anything. Obviously, it's his 4th year. But one of the things is keeping them from getting antsy in the pocket. He's the opposite. Like, that dude will stand in the pocket until he gets smacked in the mouth. That's a good thing. It's just you got to have that internal clock and know, okay, look, I'm cool with you hanging out for 4 seconds. 5, it's like, okay, you might want to, 6, what are you doing? 7 is like, bro, you're going to get yourself killed.
Yeah, and throw it to the cheerleaders if you have to. Like, yeah, that's crazy. It'll come, though. I think it'll come. And deep ball accuracy is going to improve the minute he starts trusting that go read. When you see, Watson take the top off the defense, you got to throw it. The hell with looking to your other reads in the progression. If you got like you always talk about hat count, you talk about pre-snap read, post-snap read. We have seen it time and time again. And it's not just Scoot. It's, Jaden Reed. It's Romeo Dobbs. There have been times when they have their guy roasted, and for some reason Jordan's back there patting the ball. And he's scanning, and he's looking back. And then by the time he throws it, what do we have? We have a receiver playing cornerback and basically trying to break up a potential interception or something. So I think the deep ball accuracy will improve as he starts to trust, that read on those long balls, man, because I would rather you just let that ball fly in rhythm and on time. And if that defender makes a play, well, hey, that defender made a play, rather than, I feel like maybe he's trying to be too perfect on some of those deep throws, and maybe there's that hesitancy. He did sit behind Aaron for a long time, and we know Aaron likes to protect the football. We're not going to do the he doesn't take risks thing because that's been disproven multiple times. And you have to take risks as a QB1. But I do think Jordan has his approach to the game. I think he stresses protecting that ball. And, he's maybe a little hesitant to launch it down the field on some of these. And I think if he gets rid of that hesitation and just lets it go and trusts it, I think we'll see an improvement.
Yeah, for sure, man. So let's see here. There was something else I was going to hit in here. I think we got all that. All right. So Angry Casual Fan says, how much football do y'all actually watch? Deep balls are missed in every single game by every quarterback. They are. That's a correct statement. I like to think I watch a lot of football, to be honest with you, bro. If you ever want to hook up offline, we can sit down and watch some tape together, break it down, chop it up. I'm totally cool with that. That invitation is always open to someone who wants to criticize other people, right? Now, what statistic do you bring to the table? What analytics do you bring to the table? What tape can you show me where Jordan Love is accurate deep? The facts are the facts. We're all Jordan Love fans. We want it to work. You kidding me? If it doesn't work, it's probably the most embarrassing move the front office has ever made in the history of the Green Bay Packers. You think we want that stamped on our fanhood? I know I don't, right? Yeah. But when you look at the completion percentage deep, when you look at the off-target or on-target throws deep, Jordan Love is in the bottom 3 of the entire league. The facts are the facts. And again, we can agree to disagree, but how much football do y'all actually watch? That ain't gonna fly in here, bro. So just saying. It's all good though. All right, let's do this. So offensive, we hit on the offensive PFF grades, right? Defensive PFF grades. Let's move to defense. This was the highlight for me, man. You remember during the post-game show, I went around the horn and said, hey, who's everybody's player of the game, right? A couple different names got brought up. One of them was Carrington Valentine, obviously. Played 58 snaps. To the best of my knowledge, he played every single defensive snap. That's cool. 84.9 PFF grade. Coverage grade of 83.9. Tackle grade of 75.1. Run defense grade of 75.9. Absolutely awesome game. Tim, I want to see this stack, dude. I want to see this game in and game out. Kobe Wooden had the 82.2 grade. Of course, he only played 15 snaps, right? Isaiah McDuffie, 54 snaps. PFF grade of 77.8, tackle grade of 81.8. He showed up on Chalk Talk this week. I'm excited to break that one down. Devondre Campbell, very quietly, 76.1. Obviously had the fumble recovery. That helps a lot too. Look at his coverage grade, 75.3. Tackle grade, 78.3. Run defense, 71.6. Looking like the old Dre. Speaking of looking like the old person, Jair Alexander, 75.2, had a tackle grade of 80.6. I think we said he had 6 or 7 solo tackles, Tim. Dude, I love it. Yeah. Let me get it.
Can we get a
If it's late. That's what we want to see out of Jair Alexander, man. That right there. Keyshawn Nixon, 70.5, tackle grade of 78.2. You love to see it. Coverage grade of 70.1. Had a good there. Preston Smith, man. Look at that coverage grade, Tim.
Told you, man. We're deep. We're deep at corner. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You said that we seen him in coverage, right? That one snap. Yeah. He actually played, according to PFF, he played 4 or 5 snaps? 5 snaps in coverage.
It's funny because it's funny because we shouldn't be surprised, man, because when we brought him here, we knew this about him, that he was an athletic edge guy. He's not necessarily just pass rush. He's known for being able to be athletic enough and fall back out there and make a play, and we see him continue to do it. So I'm just impressed. I would, however, like if going forward that our highest graded coverage guy is not one of our edge rushers. That would be cool. But hey, we'll take it, man. Looks great. Yeah, 86.3. That kind of stands out, right? Carrington Valentine right behind him, though. We'll take it. 83.9.
And again, we joke about it, but I joke about it because so many people don't understand why he's in coverage. When you see Preston Smith in coverage, most of the time it's because you're in a 34 base and they're running a cover 3 defense. So the only other option there out of your 34 base, if you're only going to bring 4, typically you'll bring either Rashawn Gary or you'll bring Preston Smith. Which one would you rather sacrifice in the pass rush? I think I would rather sacrifice Preston Smith. And another thing, too, if you're dropping into coverage, you're still playing a run fit. So if he's lined up, let's say he's playing that wide 9 look, right, and he's trying to disguise it almost like a fire zone, but no one's replacing him, so it's not a fire zone blitz. It's just a simple cover 3 drop. If he's playing that spot drop aspect of the zone defense, then he can fit the run fit and still get back and take away some of those underneath. The problem we ran into with Tay was you wasn't fooling him. And if you didn't cover him up, then Tay was just going to run a little choice route outside. So that's why you seen Preston standing up on Tay. And then, of course, he just gave him the shake that would have shook any of us mediocre athletes out of our freaking cleats. It's one of the things that's necessary in a 34 defense. Like I said, I shared clips of TJ Watt intercepting a pass, right?
Yep.
He intercepts a pass. Mike Tomlin's a genius. Immediately people were like, you really comparing him to TJ Watt? Nobody said Preston Smith is as good as TJ Watt. All I'm pointing out is schematically in a 34 zone defense, you're going to have one of your edge rushers have to drop into coverage occasionally. And it just happens to be Preston Smith. But again, 86.3. I'm eager to see what his coverage grade is league-wide out of outside linebackers, to be honest.
This is why he's here. This is why he was extended. This is why he's still a Packer. This is why I believe he'll retire a Packer because of what he brings to this defense. Are we going to put Rashawn Gary out there in coverage? No.
Right.
No. We know. Hey, I'll tell you what, we might be able to put LVN out there too when it's all said and done. Let's see how that development goes. But there are guys that have certain roles and responsibilities and strengths and weaknesses to their games, and we want everyone putting their best foot forward, right? It's like we talk about that with McDuffie. McDuffie is a run-stopping, middle linebacker. That's what he is. And when you see him get a hand on a ball and make a PBU or something, it's great. That's an extra cherry on top. But we're not expecting Zay McDuffie to be a coverage guy with regularity. That's Quay Walker's strength, right? So we want to play to guys' strengths and get our best personnel on the field and let them do what they do best, man.
Yeah, definitely. Steve Israel said, looks like Jair and Valentine are going to be a cornerback duo to be dealt with, and I like it. Yeah, it's exciting to see how they're going to play off each other. And again, watching Jair come across the field and dive and break those passes up, tip the pass up to Anthony Johnson Jr. for the pick. Come on, man. Like, that looked like old Jair there. And him tackling, come on. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see next week, just to see if he can put 2 games back to back, right? And that's when we're going to know, okay, the back's good now. But yeah, as far as Valentine, absolute stud yesterday. Let's see if that carries over. The other thing, too, someone pointed out here, I think it was Deadfish, said Anthony Johnson Jr., 70.4 coverage grade on 36 coverage snaps. Good job. Absolutely. That's his strength, man, was that playing top down in the quarters coverage coming out of college. And they played a whole lot more cover 3 than quarters where he was in school. To the best of my knowledge, that's what I remember the scout junkies talking about. But playing top down against the run as well. But in coverage, that's going to be his big strength, obviously. And when you look at it, man, 70.4, right? His tackle grade, he's more of a free safety, 27.2. That's not what he does, right? I love the thought of Rudy Ford coming back healthy and putting him in the box with Anthony Johnson Jr. kind of playing. Yep. When they do play that spinner or they play that robber, then you'll have Anthony Johnson Jr. playing deep, Rudy Ford playing in the box, hopefully. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go back to Rudy Ford and Jonathan Owens. That could be the case too. But you'll get to see a healthy rotation like they like to do on this defense for sure. The other thing I wanted to point out here before we get to Mike's super chat, let's talk about the negative, right? You see it, you got to say it. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly in every ball game, whether it's win, lose, or draw. Devontae Wyatt, 40.9 on 34 snaps. Tackle grade is 68.4. What you're seeing, guys, pass rush wasn't there yesterday. What I noticed in Devontae Wyatt when I turn on the tape, and I've said it all year long, it's not like a broken record, he plays out of control. When he's after the quarterback, it's just he's rushing into other people's lanes. He's like a Tasmanian devil, right? If you're out there in a wide 9, that's a different ball game. You can do that. But when you're rushing on the interior, you can really create some gaps for the offense, both for the quarterback to scramble. Again, too, there's passing lane responsibilities to a pass rush as well, right? Especially when you play a team that the last four game saturation of tape that you watch, if it shows they like to dink and dunk over the middle, then a big part of your pass rush game plan is let's make sure we're clogging those passing lanes. Devontae Wyatt, it's like he's completely oblivious to that. He's just putting his head down, doing spin moves, doing whatever, rushing into other people's lanes. He just kind of plays out of control. And to me, that explains why he didn't get on the field last year as much, because you guys know coming in this season, I was the one screaming, man, let's get him on the field. Let's see what he's got. It's obvious they were seeing that behind the scenes. So got to talk about that a little bit for sure. And, TJ Slayton took a step back this game at a 56.3. Tackle grade 66.8. Man, when he ran down that run play, Tim, I'm sure you've seen it. He came all the way across the formation. Big hustle play. Kenny only played 15 snaps. It sounds like that injury wasn't nothing major. But, again, Kenny right on par with where he's been all year, 60.2. Definitely having a down year for sure. So, let's see. Let's get to Mike Hebring real quick. Mike Hebring, will we ever see 52 over 70% of the snaps, 62% this week? It's always going to hover right around 65%, Mike. We've talked about it over and over and over. That's their rotation, right? Look at Rashawn Gary, 36 snaps, right? Well, look at Preston Smith, 38, okay? So, obviously, the difference there is probably when they took Rashawn out for the penalty. Rashawn had a bad game. I'm just going to tell you, his pass rush still a 72.2, tackle grade 74.2. You're going, how's that a bad game? It's a bad game because he did things that are uncharacteristic of Rashawn Gary. He didn't mean the face mask penalty, obviously, right? The lining up off sides, you can't do that. Your veteran edge rusher, those mistakes can't happen. And he knows that, right? The coaching staff knows that. But yeah, so as far as the 70% of the snaps, you're not going to see it with this rotation. If you do see it, you'll see it across the board, and it means they've changed their approach to that rotation. They want fresh legs in there. You went out and spent a first-round pick on Lucas Van Ness. You want him on the field, right? The only way you get him on the field is you give people like Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith a breather, right, and put him out there. Lucas Van Ness, I'll say this, he's quietly putting together a pretty good rookie season, Tim. He showed up on Chalk Talk too, where he blew up a play in the backfield absolutely annihilated a tight end. It was hilarious, dude. I mean, he threw him like we heard about him throwing Josiah Aguara in training camp. It looked like that. It's like he started to rush, the tackle crashed down. He looked up as a tight end, like, oh, tight end? Yeah. Wham! Threw him straight back, went after the quarterback, caused a hurry. But again, what you're seeing with him, schematically sound. Look at him, 68.8, right? Run defense, 65.8. Tackle grade of 72.8, pass rush 63.3. He's one of those guys that when I broke down his tape, and you can go back and listen to the pod, see it on YouTube, and I did chalk talk on his college tape. What I noticed with Lucas Van Ness in college was he's always got his eyes in the backfield protecting against the run. He's one of those guys who's going to set an edge really, really good. Remember how he tackled Justin Fields there in week 1 when he tried to scramble. You know, he's just one of those guys. He's not going to play reckless like Devontae White. If anything, he doesn't play reckless enough, but he's going to try to prevent giving up that big yardage on the edge and not setting the edge and not playing gap sound in the running game. If that makes sense. So I'm excited for y'all to see that play. But yeah, Mike, back to your question though, man. I don't see it happening unless they change the way they approach. Right. Let's see here. Ryan Henson said Z almost won Defensive Player of the Year on 60% of the snaps. So something that, you know, it's been going on for a while. You just want to keep those fresh legs in there. You know, I would love to see Rashawn Gary out there 100% of the snaps. It's just not going to happen. It's unrealistic, I believe. So anyway, all right, cool. Let's do this. Let's move on let's hit on special teams really, really quick, Tim, and then we'll wrap up. I thought this was cool. Your boy Dallin Levitt, do it with me, Tim. Dallin Levitt, 85.1 special teams grade, right? Tucker Kraft, 81.6. Ben Sims, 76.7, only 5 snaps, though. Look at Josiah Aguara, 72.5. Eric Wilson is one of the unsung heroes on this team. I'm just telling you. 72.3 for Eric Wilson. Isaiah McDuffie probably played every snap in that ball game, Tim. He came out with a 72.0 PFF grade. That's pretty exciting stuff. And Zane Anderson, we got a Zane Anderson sighting, 69.6, right? So
he's real. He exists.
Yeah. He is not a yeah.
He's not an AI, we promise.
Exactly. Anything stand out to you there that I didn't cover special teams wise?
No, I guess other than the fact that they must have missed that whiff that DeGuara had on that kickoff late in the game, because I didn't think he was going to grade as high as he did. I see him here, yeah, 72 PFF grade overall. That play sticks out to me, man. He had a guy dead to rights and just whiffed nasty. But hey, can't get them all, right?
Right. Robert Allen said Pittsburgh in Pitt, real evaluation opportunity. We will know a lot more after this one. That's what's exciting. Like, you've got to learn to embrace that. I say that. I don't say that like trying to speak down anyone. That's what I had to do. It's like, okay, what's the reality of the season? There's a slight chance, a very, very, very slight chance we could make the playoffs if this team gets hot, right? That could happen. I'm not ruling it out. But really, it's about evaluation, and it's the game within the game right now. It's how does Jordan Love going to hold up against this Pittsburgh defense and TJ Watt, right? It's how is the offense going to protect the football against a team that likes to create turnovers, all those things. It's going to be really, really exciting, man. And Pittsburgh's a great stadium to watch a ball game too. Like I'm already looking forward to it, man. The way that stadium sits on the river, it's going to be a little bit windy. We might learn a little bit about Anders Carlson too, right? With that open end of the stadium on the riverside. Yep. Get him out there kicking in that wind and see what you got a little bit there, right? So
absolutely.
I'm pretty fired up. And I just love football, dude. Win, lose, or draw, man. There's a story being told, and just don't let your emotion get in the way of you understanding that story, right? And really figuring out exactly what's happening on the field. That's what I always try to do. All right, let's see what else we got here. Well, let's see. Paul Robertson said, Robert Allen facts, going to be a low-scoring, rugged affair, I would surmise. Yeah, I would say you're probably right. Let's see Mike here one more time. Mike said the heavy rotation probably explains why the Packers got such a large discount from Gary. I'll tell you this, when you look at the statistics, comparatively speaking, those sack numbers are down. That darn sure plays into the discount, right? Again, I would rather I wouldn't say I would rather, but pressures are just as important as sacks to me personally. But I think that probably did play a role. And I think Gary absolutely loves it in Green Bay, Tim. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, he put cheese on everything. The dude, I think he appreciates the fact that the Packers took a shot on him. And I love how he battled back from that ACL, man. But I think it's nowhere but up from here, Tim.
Me personally, I agree with that. I see that too. I think Rashawn's happy where he is. And I think, the rotation, like to Mike Hebring's point, I agree. I would love to see more. I'd love to see him north of 70%, 75% of snaps. But I think that's going to be one of those things where, hey, if we can get hot and we can squeak into playoff contention or into the playoffs, and we find ourselves playing meaningful games here late in the year, I bet you the rotation's going to change. And you know what I mean? Like, yeah. If we're in it, or we find ourselves in the mix with a chance to, compete here, I think you do see his snap count go up a little bit. You know, maybe we'll see. I don't know. I think at this point, I don't think it's ACL related. I think, he's basically 100%, right? He doesn't seem to have any issues. Again, I'm not an athletic trainer or a doctor, but
nor do you play on TV, right?
Nor do I play one on TV, but I tell you, I'm a pretty good judge of talent, and I think Rashawn's moving freely out there. He doesn't seem to be labored at all in his movement. He looks just as ferocious as he always has, and I think he's just still maybe getting his game legs under him here. Halfway through the year, hopefully we'll see a little bit more, and I think we will. But I'm with you, Clayton. I don't think it's going to be anything significant. We may see a few more snaps against Pittsburgh, hopefully.
Yeah. Definitely. Paul Robertson in the chat says the over-under for the Pittsburgh Green Bay game is 37.5. I'd lean under. I could see that. Both these offensives have struggled a bit this year for sure. Ryan Henson says Steelers are a perfect evaluation for this team. Robert Allen, and the weather could be a factor. Let's see, Larry in here. Larry always being the great person he is. Hey, Clayton, where's Jacob been? Is he okay? Jacob is doing good, man. Probably shouldn't even say it, but I will, because it's almost like we're all family here anyway. We got an awesome group. Jacob lost a good friend. I won't get into the details, but a good friend of his passed away, and he's dealing with that right now and helping his friend's family and that type of thing, at least plan the wake. And I don't want to go into great detail. Probably shouldn't even mention it, but Larry, I know you're concerned. That's what that is, and he's been real busy with work and stuff before that, but it's mainly that right there. Now, Carly Ray's going to feel bad for what she said, because we always joke about this, and Jacob won't mind, but I'm going to post it anyway. Jacob's got a lady friend, right? So it's pretty much sums up Jacob. This is the running joke here around Packernet anyway.
Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet me. How do you like your eggs in the morning?
So, yeah. I would much rather it be that than him having to deal with the loss of a good friend, because it's tough, man. I've been there, done that, and like I said, won't go into details, but Jacob is an awesome guy. Jacob will be a part of this show for as long as he wants to be a part of it. We always love his insight, love his energy, love his passion for the game and the Packers. So appreciate you asking about that, though, Larry. You're awesome, buddy. Definitely appreciate that. So, all right, cool. Let's do this. Let's get out of here, Tim. I thought we would end it with something kind of cool here. This came from Packers.com, just a quick video where they basically I think it's called Packers. The daily recap is basically what it is. But the guys over at Packers.com, they kind of broke down the game, and thought we would just kind of end it with this. Togra, we'll get right to your super chat here in a second, buddy, but here we go.
You guys continue to show up every day. You continue to work your ass off. There was a lot of great performances out there today.
First and goal, Gift Jones picks his way left side, into the end zone, touchdown! Showtime in the north end zone of Lambeau Field.
I didn't feel bad at all. I feel like I can provide a spark or provide a boost, and I feel like we came out and we moved the ball well. We got a faster start.
Hey, anytime you hold anybody to 3 points in this league, that's damn good defense.
Escapes, rolls right, ball comes loose, scooped up by the Packers, and it's going to be Green Bay football.
Man, it feels good to win. I can't tell you how much we as coaches appreciate the effort of the men in this room.
Packers snap the 4-game losing streak, a 20-3 victory over the Rams.
Pack on 3, 1, 2, 3, back!
The Packers finally put together 60 minutes of complimentary football, and they got the results they've been searching for. A dominant defensive performance stifled the Rams' air attack to the tune of a 45.2 passer rating, and the offense delivered down the stretch, possessing the ball for nearly 13 minutes in the final quarter. The numbers were good, but the win was most important. The Packers showed on Sunday just how capable they are of overcoming adversity.
I think it's exactly what we needed.
Swing it over the middle, Musgrave, the end zone, touchdown, and a dagger.
Just to come out here and put it together in all three phases. Offense played good, defense balled out, special teams were able to make some plays, and it definitely is going to help us, and we just got to keep stacking it.
We have a really resilient locker room and guys that care about not only this game, but each other. Hopefully that's something we can build upon moving forward.
There you go. They always do such a great job with that, man. So go show them some love. Give it a click. Give it a like on YouTube. Obviously, it's Packers YouTube page, as well as everybody on Twitter there. Wes Hockowitz is one of my favorite follows. You want a guy that's just no nonsense, fun loving, absolutely loves the Packers. Lifelong fan to the best of my knowledge. Him and Mike Spofford do a good job. I love the fact that they are who represents the team as far as the media right there in-house, They just do a good job of painting the positive picture and removing all the trash and all the negativity. But pretty cool seeing that locker room celebration. All right, Tim?
Man, I love that. I just these guys they're playing for each other. I like the comment Coach LaFleur threw in there too at the end. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but he said, "We as coaches are proud of the effort of you guys, every one of you guys in this locker room." So for all you guys, though, these players don't want to play for these coaches and it's a coaching thing. I think the beef might be with upper management. I don't think the beef is with the guys in the locker room. So we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh's going to be the real test. Everyone who said that tonight is absolutely correct, which makes me feel really good because I think this team can respond. I really do. And if we beat them, the streak begins. I'm telling you right now, there's no reason that we can't go on a little run here and at least make it interesting.
Definitely. Togrel, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Dang, missed the show, but I'll rewatch, I promise." Hey, listen, man, we know everybody's busy. We appreciate you swinging through, and thank you for the super chat. Mike Hebring said, thanking to Jacob. Same with Mike, condolences, Jacob. And Larry said, "Thanks for sharing. I get it. I was away last week for an aunt's passing. Prayers to Jacob and friends, family." Yeah, sorry for your loss there too, Larry. We appreciate you swinging through, but it's good to have you back, man. And, of course, United Bates doing United Bates things, gifting a few memberships. And if he hadn't done this, I would have forgot to mention this. So thank you for gifting those memberships. Anyone who's a YouTube member, right, of the PTA Posse, we're doing another jersey giveaway this Sunday, getting emotional here, this Sunday during the post-game show, all right? And it's going to be Hall of Famer Dave Robinson, all right? So
nice.
Number 89, green Beckett-style Hall of Fame Dave Robinson jersey. So if you're not a member of the YouTube group, the PTA Posse, just go click join at our YouTube page. But it's a way for us to reward people who are supporting us. You can only imagine what this autograph memorabilia costs, right? So let's not sit here and pretend like I'm making money off the memberships. It's just when we started the channel and I seen, man, people really want to support us. This is awesome. We want to try to give back. So with that being said, that'll be the giveaway this Sunday. Everyone who has an active YouTube membership to the Packers Total Access YouTube channel, then we will put your name on a wheel. We'll spin that wheel during the post-game show and give away, like I said, an autographed jersey of Hall of Famer Dave Robinson, outside linebacker for Lombardi's Packers. Just an absolute stud. If you guys have never watched the Ice Bowl done by NFL Films, go watch it. You'll hear him tell the story about how Lombardi told him during the Ice Bowl, "I don't want anybody wearing gloves. It's a big game. I don't want anybody dropping balls." And he looked to Dominique, the trainer, and said, "Get me some brown gloves. He'll never know the difference." Dave Robinson, man.
Oh, man.
Some of the best sound bites come from that guy. Just
for sure.
And someone who played the game during a time when racial tension was at its height. And just like Willie Davis just overcame every racial stereotype known to man. It's awesome to see those guys battle through that adversity. And
I always love hearing the way they talk about Coach Lombardi too, and what he did for his players, all backgrounds, all races, and he knew Vince Lombardi always knew it was bigger than football, and he certainly took care of everyone who came through this great organization. So that goes without saying, but I felt like saying it.
Yeah, one of the other I'm telling you, he's a soundbite machine. He's got some of the best quotes. But another one he said, Tim, was he said, I was raised that, told by my parents, by men in my life, that you never let a white man pat you on the head. You never let, nobody pat you on the head. He said, Lombardi come by and pat me on the back of the neck, on the head. He said, man, I felt like $1 million. It's just like, because he was so, just on fire all the time. But yeah, he's it sucks because you're seeing all these greats, their time has passed, and you see them pass away, and it's just like, man, that's why I was a big defender of Aaron Rodgers on the McAfee show, because it's like you get one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the game going on once a week and just talking about the things he's focused on and this and that. And I understand he can be a jerk. I got you. But man, let me ask you this. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could go back and watch videos of Bart Starr every single week talking about what he's seen, what he's doing to train, all those things?
Yeah.
Like, remove the personal bias, or whatever you want to say, the personal agenda you have toward him, the bad feelings, and just focus on the content itself. It's pretty amazing. So good stuff. Love everybody in the chat going down memory lane here, talking about old players, or not Willie Davis, but Dave Robinson in the game. Pretty cool. All right, man. We're out of here, Tim. Thank you so much for your time, buddy. This was a fun one. Covered a lot of information, and I'm glad we got to it. So again, everybody make sure you join the YouTube members group there, the PTA Posse, and get yourself entered in to win that autographed Dave Robinson jersey. So with that being said, want to give a special shout out to everybody with the super chats. You guys brung the thunder. Have X with the super sticker. Mike Hebring in here just loading them down, dude. Always appreciate you so much, Mike. I love the fact that we have a lot of differing opinions, and love the interaction on Twitter too, man. Josh Martin with the super chat. United Bates, Robert Allen, United Bates obviously gifting the 5 memberships, and of course Togrel coming in here and giving a super chat as well. You guys are awesome. So with that being said, we're out of here. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one goes. Go right by him and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. So look at this play. What we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the